Hauser, I had faith in you, man. Obviously, I was wrong to have that faith. But before I open the review of chapter 27 of Four Nights in the Apocalypse, please go here and leave your own thoughts on the chapter in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Now, let's get into it. What's up, guys? I got the pencil here, and here we are to review chapter 27 of Four Nights in the Apocalypse, which is known as Master and Pupil. And honestly, it should just be Pupil and Pupil, bro, because like Hauser gets knocked out so quickly, bro. Like, honestly, like, Hauser, you mad disappoint me, dog. You better show up in the next chapter, because really, I was hoping my boy Hauser would pull up and be like, yeah, this liquor has no effect on me. Watch me bolo all these people. But no, that is not what happens. Like, legitimately, Hauser is like, yo, I am built different. Y'all know this, right? Like, all the bandits are around laughing and snickering like, we're gonna tickle your toes. And then Hauser's like, wow. Yeah, so it looks like y'all took over Kant. You were bandits in this area, but I guess you decided to just take over an entire city. I see y'all leveling up, but y'all are fools. Y'all are weak. Y'all are fodder. How dare you think you can challenge a true holy knight? You think you can take on... Wait, no. You think you can just take my weapons and you won't get body bagged? Ha 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 ha. And like, I should have known by like how comedically Hauser was drawn here. But man, like, here's the thing. They were pretty smart, I will admit that. Like, running the ones with Hauser while he was armed, even if he was drunk, wouldn't have been the best thing to do, considering that man is the demon, and we know, well, compared to regular humans, that man is a demon, and also we know for a fact that, like, for some reason, all weapons just amp you in the Seven Deadly Sins verse. Like, if you are fighting barehanded, you could, like, have a twig in your hand and do better than what you could do if you were just fighting barehanded, because weapons work like that in Seven Deadly Sins. But, regardless of that, it's kind of sad to see Hauser get, like, played out so quickly. Like, the thing is, I think EDLIN, well, I guess I can say, no, the chapter page has a big, good picture of EDLIN. I think EDLIN looks saucy. I'm not gonna lie. Like, EDLIN, off that last chapter we got of him, like that last image of him, that partial image, it was like, yeah, it was all right. But now I can't lie to y'all. EDLIN look kind of saucy, bro. He kind of has that drip to him, if I'm being completely real with y'all. And he also reminds me of a character. It's not Bond. He reminds me of some character. I don't even think, it may not even be from this series, but like the weird top coat and the, yo, he reminds me of Asta. Like the way he has like a majority of his abdomen showing, but then he still has like the overcoat, which reminds you of like the Black Bull's cloak. But the hair and the face don't remind me of Asta. They remind me of something else. Even like the earring. Like, honestly, Nakaba, he may have designed, no, he didn't may have designed, you have designed another very, very drippy character, because the man's got sauce. He's got sauce to his style. I won't even lie about that. And it's kind of cool to see how even he is like, yo, buddy. And when he says buddy, he really means Master Hauser. Yo, I know how much you can drink, pal. Who do you think carried you back from the tavern all those times? And man, like I said, Hauser just holding that so quickly is kind of disappointing, but not too surprising. It is Hauser. He's unfortunately never be allowed to take serious. Like, there's some characters that no matter how much they go through, the mangaka will just never take them serious. I think of Kiba from Naruto, Hauser from Seven Deadly Sins. Heck, if we're being real, a lot of characters in God of High School. But regardless of that, we do get to see that Nasins is like, wow, y'all really body bagged the Holy Knight without even touching him. That's pretty darn impressive. Well then, maybe I should take care of this. But he only decides to take care of it the moment he gets the answer of what they're going to do with the kids. And like, Nakaba, like, I don't know what it is with this series. I think Nakaba, like, he got Seven Deadly Sins out. A lot of people love it, myself included. And he's just like, you know what? Let me just be an absolute menace in the sequel series. Bro, he literally writes out, we'll sell you children off as slaves. There ain't no way I'm reading this in the same series. Like, huh? Bro, what is this series sometimes? Like, that's not even a graphic image. We don't even get to see them like drawn as slaves or anything like that. But just the thought, like, my imagination is, whew, and that's only off phrasing. Like, yo, Nakaba, you going wild in this series, bro. I can't even lie. However, we do get to see Nasians being big papa. Like, I got up. Nasians, if he's not your best boy, like, it's okay. It's just okay to be wrong, right? Because the man literally comes out and instantly goes with Misty Reina, Belladonna. And I wonder if it is. I doubt it's Spanish. They're in Old England, so I doubt it's Spanish. But Belladonna, or Belladonna, that's the real thing. And I love how saucy my man looked. Like, Nazians is just a drip master, bro. I don't know anyone who disagrees, and if you do happen to disagree, once again, it is okay to be factually incorrect. Nazians is the lord, the bringer, the despair, not even the despair, the dropper of the drip. But regardless of that, we do get to see that EDLIN suddenly has Percival, even though everyone else gets knocked out. That's the thing I failed to mention. Like, to be fair, well, no, it's Belladonna, and Belladonna was able to like numb Ironside of all people, and Ironside is a reasonable threat, like sub 7 deadly sins level, as we now know, but still Ironside is a whole demon. So I'm not shocked that all these like regular human bandits, like with no magical powers, no amps or anything like that, were just like instantly one shot by Belladonna, considering what Belladonna has done to much more powerful beings. But shout outs to EDLIN. EDLIN like holds it together, and I'm not sure if, let me see. No, he should breathe it in with the rest of them, but I guess maybe he just has better resistance to it or something like that. And then we also get to see that he seems to have some sort of illusion casting ability. At least that's what I seem to take it as, because he has a Percival in his hands, and he gets Nazians to stutter, because obviously Nazians cares about Percival the most out of his entire group. But he looks, Nazians turns around and sees that Percival is still snoring on the ground. But it seems like EDLIN still did have a Percival in his hand, so I'm assuming this is like an illusion-based ability. I'm not sure. I wouldn't say it's like a Gother, but to be fair, Gother was managed to spawn like visual illusions too. He can pop them out in the general world without landing a hit too. So it's entirely possible that either EDLIN has like a duplicate ability where he can duplicate like the form of someone and like maybe carry around like a puppet or a copy of it, and that's why he has Percival, and Percival seems to be like conforming to his hold and not just be a weightless object. Or he just has basic illusion abilities where he's able to like produce a copy of someone else, but it's simply an illusion, like a trick on the eyes rather than something actually physical. I'd honestly be more interested if it was the former, because imagine like what you could do with that. Like you could just spawn like almost endless shields for himself, as long as he, like, I want to know what his ability is. If it's the former of just like being able to manifest physical duplicates of something, cool. I'd love to see what else he can do with that, especially considering how cunning he seems to be, because he takes out best boy Nazians in one once again, Nakba the Savage, bro. Like EDLIN comes in with the whole people's elbow, like the whole elbow, and just drops on Nazian's head, knocks my boy out. That is wild to see. But yeah, I really want to see what EDLIN's ability is more in depth. I love how we're getting like sort of pseudo, not really pseudo expansions, but we're getting abilities that aren't fully explained to us up front, which leaves us room to speculate. And speculating is one of my favorite things about doing weekly reviews, because like even if I'm proven wrong the very next week, I got to speculate about something, and that's what something I legitimately enjoy. I don't know about y'all, but I actually really enjoy it. Then we do get to see, we are back to Donny outside the Kent Tower. Or not the Kent Tower. I don't know. This is just some random building he's outside of. And then we get to see EDLIN's just strolling up. And these two have I guess it isn't necessarily a shockingly good relationship. Donny did seem to be on good terms with EDLIN. EDLIN didn't, or like Hauser didn't mention anything about EDLIN not liking Donny or something like that. These two did seem to be homies. But it's very interesting to see how EDLIN's like super focused on recruiting Donny for this mission. Like he doesn't, well, to be fair, I guess it makes sense why he wouldn't cry. Whoa, it makes sense why he wouldn't try to recruit Hauser, because Hauser is a holy knight captain at that. But it is interesting to see how he's willing to like speak to Donny and like offer him to join his bandit gang. Meanwhile, Percival and Nazian sort of just got the I'm gonna have to feed you to the dragon type treatment. Like that's it. And once again, it's always interesting to hear about like characters' backstories without actually getting to see them. Like, to be fair, y'all know I always I'm very much more a show don't tell kind of guy, because I would have loved to see a lot of elements in the past of Seven Deadly Sins. But I think the vagueness of their conversation, EDLIN and Donny's conversation, where EDLIN's like, oh no, I gave up on all my ideas and wants to be a holy knight for reasons and stuff like that. Like, we don't get to see how dedicated he was, how hyped he was to these ideals, but the way that Donny reacts and how he's so shocked that EDLIN gave all that up, he's like super invested in the idea, or not even invested in the idea, but he's very confused why. It brings like this hint of mystery to both of their backgrounds. Like, I'm not exactly sure why Donny dropped out still. Like, Hauser just frames it as Donny being lazy, but I feel like there's another reason to that, and obviously we have EDLIN's own reason for wanting to become this weird sort of bandit leader, monster controlling dude. And to be fair, y'all did bring up in not last week's, but the week's before's comment section, shout outs to y'all, that EDLIN is in fact a being from Arthurian mythology. A being. I make it sound like I'm talking about a deity. He is a dude from Arthurian mythology, and he is an apprentice, not an apprentice, he is an ally of Arthur. And does this tyrant dragon have anything to do with Arthur? Not even tyrant dragon. This is an ancient beast, an ancient dragon, dragonborn. Well, he's not dragonborn, but regardless of that, it is super interesting to see what, like, they're just questions. There are good meaty questions locked behind these two, and I want answers right now. I'm not gonna lay them on the plate. No, but regardless of that, I'm super intrigued to see what these two were. Like, they seem to be homies. Like, to a decent degree, they do seem to be like chill, we're talking, we're having a good time kind of people. But at the same time, it seems like these two have some sort of, like, Donny definitely seems to have much more of the power dynamic here. I feel like EDLIN may have been lagging behind Donny in some sense, despite what Hauser has said, because, like, while EDLIN seems to have a lot more control at first in their interactions, where how he's the one who's walking up, he's the one who's explaining everything, he's the one who offers Donny to join his group instead of traveling with like circus performers or anything like that. You get to see the switch up when Donny snatches up his hand after EDLIN threatens to do something to Percival, Nasians, and Anne. Like, Donny's serious look on his face actually shakes EDLIN enough that he summons the dragon. Like, I was trying to like think of the proper buildup, but this beast, this monster, and I wonder if this is this the thing that shook the entirety of Kant earlier. Like, remember last chapter where we opened up with Sin talking to Sylvan? Like, was this the thing that landed and shook the entire building? Because if so, I would not be shocked. That thing is crazy. And EDLIN, he's so interesting because he's talking about his destiny. Like, when Donny's like, bro, you've changed beyond recognition and I don't like it, and give me back my friends or else I'll break your wrist. Like, EDLIN isn't, he has that moment of intimidation where like this calm facade cracks, but then he's suddenly back in line. He's like, no, I haven't changed. All I did was discover my destiny. And we get to see that everyone, see, man, like, I want to talk about the dragon, but I will not talk about the dragon just yet because we'll get into that. But regardless of that, we do get to see everyone is here, and by everyone I mean Hauser, Nasians, Percival, and that's about it. They all land in this dungeon / prison / jail, and I'm assuming they're thrown in there. Like, that's the transition. I'm assuming they have like all their drunken / knocked out bodies were all just thrown in this jail cell, and obviously they snatched up that money. They snatched up the shmoney on the low from Anne, because obviously that was one of the main things they're there for. They're all bandits. They want the money. But honestly, I'm kind of shocked that they woke up that quickly. Like, is that maybe they were more people around town and not everyone in the bar? But like, it looked like Nasians knocked them all out with Belladonna. And to be fair, Nasian's poison lasts a while. Like, it lasted long enough that Arthur himself had to remove it from Ironside's system, and Ironside should probably have a faster metabolism or through poison. But then again, this is mist, so it probably isn't as potent as like a direct dose, which is what I'm assuming Nasians gave Ironside. So you know what, I'll let it slide. Makes sense that they're all awake. So, but another thing we get to see is that I think someone mentioned it in last week's comment section too. This is Taizo, like the guy from the Vizal Fighting Festival, the one that first got bodied by Hauser, which is something that this is super, I don't know, like there's weird little callbacks that I love a lot in this series. Like, to be fair, I wasn't the biggest fan of Dolores' return, mainly because Dolores was a character I had like no interest in. She was just a plot device, at least to me, for the longest time, and still is. And honestly, there are other characters I was like, and we'll touch on the return of, like, not necessarily touchy, but I didn't really care for, like Cats. Like, seeing him, it was alright, but I didn't really care. But like seeing Taizo, it brought a big old smile to my face. And I know I'm confident one of y'all pointed that out, or I read somewhere someone pointed it out. But I'm pretty sure it was in 2 weeks ago's comment section, some of y'all pointed it out that it was Taizo. And I'm super happy that he, like, on the basis of everything, is actually a pretty cool dude. Like, he is still gonna let them out, and he's trying to escape, mainly because, this dragon, bro, like, I'll admit, you will always, if you're on the channel and you happen to read My Hero Academia and you happen to listen to any of my Hero Academia reviews, you will constantly hear me just Horikoshi's pencil, like constantly. My man is a demon with the pen, and I 100% believe that. But I feel like I don't give Nakaba his due diligence, his due credit for how much of a beast this man is with a pen in his hand, bro. This dragon, this beast right here, the shading, the details, the variances, the color, like it is wild when that dragon like leaps off the page. It is a 3D image. That's how like present it feels. The scale of the dragon, despite being a 2D unmoving image, has weight to it. It feels so present, and it's just because of how Nakaba drew it, from how he has the different dark shadings on where the sun will be blocked out by its wings or anything like that, or the building. Nakaba is an amazing artist. Like he needs to be put up there, bro. Like he needs to be put up there, because this is like, you could put this in a medieval frame and be like, oh, this is from the whatever medieval times. I believe you. I believe this is a beautiful depiction of a dragon. But speaking of the dragon, this is interesting. I don't think we've ever seen like a dragon like this. Like, I'm pretty sure the tyrant dragons were not this large. Like, this is supposedly an ancient dragon, and seeing him like this, it's like, well, seeing one like this, it just feels different. Like, to be fair, we've seen a lot of beasts in Seven Deadly Sins. We've seen the sand crawlers, we've seen the shapeshifters, we've seen vampire. Like, we've seen a lot in Seven Deadly Sins in terms of species, but seeing this old Arthurian creature just like almost in its prime, like a true depiction of what a beast of this stature would be, like literally towering over an entire building, its own tail probably being able to wipe out the entire area with one casual swing, the massive wings, it's just, like, you want to talk about presence. It's weird. Like, I definitely got to make a video explaining like weird art things that I noticed. And to be fair, I'm not a professional artist. I do not think my art is that good. I'm glad that y'all enjoy it. I'm glad that some of y'all think I'm good. And I think I've gotten better over the time, but I don't think I'm to this level yet. And I don't think I'll be at this level for forever. But there's definitely a time where I need to sit down and just make a video on how some art just makes me lose my mind. But that's the thing. This art is so beautiful. I love the tension and weight it sort of carries, because what Taizo implies back like a page before we get to see the dragon in full is that this isn't some like normal thing. This isn't some endless deal, that this taming of the dragon isn't a permanent thing. It's temporary and it's about to run out. And we get to see the dragon. He's like, he or she, I'm not sure what the dragon is, but this dragon is glaring down upon EDLIN. And EDLIN, he seems confident, he seems in control, and it's all because that they're somehow in the same boat. But the interesting thing is that if this is EDLIN, like EDLIN according to Arthurian mythology, who's aligned with Arthur, do you think like this is a person? This is a person being controlled by Arthur's magic, but the longer that someone outside of Arthur himself, and someone who isn't as powerful as one of his like subordinates, such as someone like EDLIN, who doesn't seem to be a holy knight of any sort, he just seems to be a more powerful than average dude with some magic. Do you think like eventually a being that he trapped in the state would like revert or something like that? Or say he's just using magic to control it through like illusion casting, like say he somehow captured this thing with an illusion of like its kids or something like that, and it's slowly like realizing that certain things are wrong with the illusion. So almost like a Mael situation, where like, not a Mael, technically a Mael, but like the Esterosa situation, where like the more inconsistencies kept piling up within the illusion, and thus it ended up breaking eventually. Like, what is the dealio here with this dragon? I don't know. I'm super intrigued. That's the thing. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, and I like that. Like, I like it when mangakas can confuse me. That's the thing. Like, one of the most common things you'll ever hear me complain about is like, oh yeah, this is predictable. This is what I expected to happen. But whenever I'm in a scenario where I have no idea what's going on, but in like the good way like this, that's when I'm excited the most. That's when I'm excited. That's when I'm hyped. That's when I'm intrigued. And this chapter did a very good job of intriguing me. Do I think it's as good as last chapter? I think it's artistically nuts, but outside of that, I do not think it is as like bomb fire. I need to go write a whole book on this kind of chapter like last one was, but this still is a solid 9 out of 10 chapter. Like, from the use of Nasian's powers, I say it's an 8 out of 10, and the only thing that holds it back is Nakaba's reluctance to make Hauser a very serious character, because that's it. Like, I feel like the comedic, it's weird. Once again, artistic. Hey, that guy with the pencil here, I'm going to talk about weird art stuff. I believe, especially when in a visual medium, mainly in a visual medium like manga and or anime or anything, how you portray a character through the artwork is very integral to keeping a tone to your work, or keeping a sort of theme around your work. And thus, whenever you break any consistency, such as this like initial serious tone set up by the chapter with this goofy face of Hauser's, it's like, it's a very much a paradigm shift, and it just sucks you right out of whatever tension you were feeling. And no matter what the chapter does, it just can't drag me back into that. So Hauser, you definitely lose a lot of points here. You're the one who's caused on chapter, but everyone else in the chapter was fine. Percival and Anne, I hope they wake up. I hope they get a bit more cognitive or something like that. Like, I'm not sure how long they're going to be down and out. Hopefully they'll recover their good minds and then hopefully be useful to the team, not just sit around and do nothing. Nasians, I hope you can do something to help against this dragon, because they're probably going to need you. Probably going to need you to pacify the dragon or something like that. And Edlin, please don't do anything too stupid, and I want to see a flashback with you and Donny. That's about it. I think this chapter, very, very solid, 8 out of 10. However, that's what I think. What do you guys think? Please tell me in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is that other pencil writing off.